Hi everybody, this episode of Crap Found in My Basement is going to highlight things in the shape of Minnesota. I'd like to start with this insane amount of Minnesota pins. Collected them, they're from all over eBay mostly. Took years to collect, and I put in this what is called a Riker case. It's a glass case that allows you to kind of open and close them with these little pins. Maybe they're on the side. Yeah, there's 4 pins here that come out that you can put this stuff in. But got a lot to look at. So that here is the Minnesota State Fair did these collectible pins back in, the date's not on it. Let's see here. You could get each of these pins at various Cub Foods right around the State Fair. Luckily, the Northfield one had all of them. Looking for a date. Can't find a date, but in the shape of Minnesota. And people give me a lot of stuff. I do get, and I always appreciate that. Here is my good friend Terry Lindgren. She gave me this when she left KYMN when I was working there. She collects kind of antiques and found this with this University of Minnesota, which is my alma mater. That's kind of cool right there. Thank you, Terry Lindgren. And here's another eBay find. Salt and pepper shakers in the shape of Minnesota. Cute. And then this is one I made. And so I wanted to make a bunch of stuff, cut out stuff in the shape of Minnesota. So I went and bought a map. Just your standard map, the kind that are actually laminated. And then I used a razor blade and I cut out the actual shape. And I was able to use this as a template. Or is it plate? Template. Where's the northern, there we go, Lake of the Woods. So here, I was able to use this, and then I also cut these out and got a shadow box used for like portrait drawings. I put this on the shadow box, loaned from the Northfield Montessori. This was years ago, and was able to project the shape of Minnesota onto larger pieces of wood and trace it. So I did that. I've got a bunch of huge ones hanging around my house. This one is via Steve. Steve is a regular of the Defeated Jesse James days. He knew I collected stuff, so he brought me this. I have since ruined the clock. Sorry about that, Steve. But thank you for giving that to me in my collection. Now this is interesting. This is made out of the old Metrodome roof, the original roof fabric used that we saw on the live shots. As you can tell, all the monster trucks have kind of made it a little dirty. But this material was purchased by one of my friends who sells these different items in the shape of Minnesota. I have a Joe Mauer 7 around here somewhere, but I thought that was pretty cool, and that he included a piece outside the frame. So that is the old roof that we had a couple World Series under. You got to have your basket, your bread basket. Pass the bread in the shape of Minnesota. Got that. Here's another one I made. I used a nice piece of cedar, and then I just did some inking and stenciling. Tried to put the star where Northfield is. So that's one I cut out. This was a long time ago. It has since become very popular. Of course, you've got your cribbage. I like the detail, all the different roads, highways, everything here. You can have your geography lesson. Oh, crap. And by the way, you know how Al Franken can draw every state? So I don't know if you've ever seen Al Franken freehand draw the United States, state by state, and they match up perfectly. My goal in life is to freehand draw the counties in Minnesota to actually do an Al Franken Minnesota version. That's on my bucket list. Oh, another one from Steve. Thank you, Steve. This one I think he found at an estate sale. It's got, a bunch of is that Lombardozzi? Nope, Dan Gladden. There's our World Series. That's the 91. So somebody made this nice little piece, and I'm thankful to have that. Seriously, another Steve. Stephen Dundas. Steve, I'm sorry, I'm blanking your name. Kylie's dad is the one that did this. He used a puck and hockey sticks, and I apologize if I got the name wrong. Going too fast and I need coffee, but he does make these and sells these. You can tell I've had it for quite a while, but how cool is that to actually have hockey sticks in that, Minnesota? I'm getting my velvet all discolored. Oh, here's a piece of, since I'm showing off junk, this is the actual original turf, the Metrodome turf. That's how thick it was. So if you wonder why the baseballs would bounce off the turf, and that's the styrofoam under the original Metrodome turf. So this had 2 World Series plate on it. He actually used this, or bought this rather, and sold this along with the roof portion. I told you I got a lot of junk in my basement. Here's another clock. It is a thick as well. Don't know where I got this. Oh, eBay. How much did I pay? $9. So I did back on the 13th. I did a $9 purchase and got this actual clock. I love the wood grain in there. It's got that what do they call it? Decoupaging. That's pretty. And then here's a couple that are just random purchase, nothing special, of course. Our Favre coming to Minnesota. And then I had somebody die cut a bunch of these, and then Devin down at Makeshift Accessories took these and drilled the hole and put some clocks in them. I think he sells some of these as well, but I thought that was pretty cool. I got a bunch of different shapes. And the same person, they used their die cut machine to cut some wood versions, so you can actually make ornaments. And I bought some of those as well. Oops, sorry to shake the camera. This is mine. This is a rough sawn cedar that I did. It's the same template as one of the earlier ones. That's one that I cut myself. And then I used a blowtorch to distress and get the coloring in there before I put some polyurethane on top of that. And of course you got your Vikings, Twins, and Minnesota Wild. That is what Tim has in his basement. I've got a lot of stuff. I'm going to take, while I've got you, I'm just going to take my camera off. I got to show you a couple more things. This is a neon sign from, obviously it's Heineken, and it's got the original Metrodome, kind of made out of neon. I thought they should have arced these in a little bit, but neon-wise, that would have been more accurate. But how about that? And then this I bought at an auction at the Chamber of Commerce, one of the annual galas. And this has got like the real Minnesota map underneath it. It's not a true neon, but it does light up, and I don't have it plugged in. So anyways, that's all the junk in my basement that is in the shape of Minnesota. Let me know if you like this, if you want to see more crap I've collected, and I will be glad to show you. I've got Northfield versions. I've got all kinds of just stuff that I need to show people. Oh, there's the horseshoe.